Hello, mi gente. Welcome to my universe. Welcome back to my universe. Welcome to another episode of the Things I Never Said podcast. This is Starlini speaking, pero ya tu sabe. So today I want to talk a little bit about the importance of letting go of control in order to have peace. And yes, I am saying this primarily for myself, but also for anyone who happens to just need to hear this. So it's for you, but it's for me too, girl. Okay. So I wrote down a quote some time ago and I came across it recently. So I want to share that. The quote is, "Being at ease with not knowing is crucial for answers to come to you." It's by Eckhart Tolle. I don't really know if I'm saying that right, but I will say it again. The quote is, "Being at ease with not knowing is crucial for answers to come to you." Be at ease with the uncertainty in your life. That is something I have to remind myself from time to time. And by from time to time, I mean quite often, because I do not like not being in control of my circumstances. If you know a little bit about my background and my upbringing, you would maybe be able to either know or just imagine that I've had to depend on myself for quite some time. I've not been able to rely on other people as much as I have had to rely on myself. That is, from the time I was, I guess, in the foster care system, out of the foster care system, and then an emancipated minor living with different households year after year. So I've been, I guess, adulting even before I was an adult, and I've had to navigate this world by myself, even with the little bit of help that I've had from other people, because it's not like they were controlling my life. Like, they were offering me nuggets of information from time to time, sure. However, it was up to me to make sure that my phone bill was paid and that I had money in order to buy groceries. It was up to me to get a second job when the first job wasn't paying me enough. That has all been up to me. My success, my failures, everything in between, my accomplishments, my experiences have mostly been created by me because I've been the resilient one. So you can imagine when you've had to depend on yourself for years, it's quite difficult to let go of control. You have a tendency to just want to do everything for yourself. And I mean, I like the idea of people doing stuff for me, but if I'm honest, I am a very considerate person. I'm very empathetic and I'm very considerate. And what happens is I often think more about other people than they seem to think about me. I think more about what other people may appreciate or may want or may be able to benefit from than other people tend to think about when it comes to me. So I end up being the person who does more for the people in my life. I've been that way for quite some time. Even when I had less, I was still thinking about what I could offer other people. And, some people were just kind of like, I guess, okay with doing the very bare minimum. Some people honestly just don't think about how they could help you, especially when you're strong. That's why people say check on your strong friends, because when you're a strong person and it shows, people often think that you don't need anything. They think that they don't need to give you a helping hand. In fact, if they do think that you need help, they'll ask you as opposed to just doing something for you, which is the difference between them and me. Here's an example. If I see you walking with a lot of bags, if I see you come into the building, I'm not talking about strangers all the time. I mean like my own friends, people who have been my friends, people who have been closer to me, and so on and so forth. If I see that they're carrying a lot of stuff, I will just go over to them and grab a bag. Whereas when it comes to me, because people are so used to seeing me be this strong person, they're like, do you need help? Like, does it look like I need help? Duh, of course I need help. Why don't you just get up and help me? Like, I'll never say that to a person because no one is obligated to help me, but it's quite frustrating when you're that person who just takes the initiative to do for other people, but then other people don't give you that same reciprocity because they just think that, oh, you can handle it, you're fine, you're strong enough. And I may be all those things, but it doesn't mean that I'm less deserving of that helping hand. Again, I'm saying all this because it contributes to my natural tendency to just have control over everything in my life. Because most of the time I would have to tell somebody to help me. They wouldn't just think to give me something or think to do something for me, unfortunately. But I'm recognizing as I go through different things in my life, how feeling like I am in control of everything gives me a little bit of satisfaction, but it also causes me so much stress when I put so much on myself. As an overachiever, or as a dreamer, someone who has all these visions for herself, I have a tendency to apply pressure on myself to do more than what the average person my age expects themselves to do. Again, that comes from growing up pretty fast as well. But I am practicing and reminding myself quite often these days that it is important for me to just surrender the stress and the anxiety and the worry that all this pressure I put on myself causes me, and as well as that need to control everything in my life or to have an answer for everything. Going back to the quote, you have to learn to be at ease with the uncertainty. It is crucial. That's the word that's used in this quote. It is crucial for answers to come to you. I'm the type of person, sometimes let's say like I'm trying to apply for like a university, right? And it's the university I really want to go to. However, I don't know if they're going to accept me or not. So I'm the person who will apply to like 4 different universities, even though I really want to go to that one university, because even though I have faith and hope are not tangible things, right? Faith doesn't pay your bills. Hope doesn't pay your bills. So just to ensure that I get accepted into at least some place, I'll apply for like all these different universities instead of giving the universe or giving even myself the opportunity to see what one university, has to say to me. Whether they're going to accept me or not is a mystery, and that mystery causes me so much anxiety. I can't, I don't know why, but I just cannot like sit there and just accept the process that everything is. Everything is a process. Everything. And sometimes I really can't stand that, because I don't like feeling helpless. Like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when the storm will pass. I get so tired of that like waiting period, to be specific. But like I said, it just causes so much stress and worry and anxiety when I put myself through that mental gymnastics, as I call it, of wondering and focusing on all the things that I cannot even help in the moment. It's like if you apply for, let's say you apply for a loan, let's say you apply for a job, let's say you apply, like I said, for university, you got to just give it time. You have to give the universe time to do its work. If you are a religious person, I guess you would say you got to give God time to do its work. You can't act like, oh, God isn't giving you what you need, so I'm going to just go ahead and bypass God and do it myself. Like, girl, you're not going to get very far. Because like I said, everything is a process. Everything takes time. You can't rush it. You just have to have faith that you're going to be more than okay, that you're going to come out on top. And you also have to be willing to accept that you may possibly face rejection. But rejection is most of the time for your protection. I'll go into that in another podcast episode, because I can speak on that. I welcome rejection. I'm like, okay. But I'm learning that I have to be willing to just do my part and then just throw my hands in the air and say, okay, I'm moving on. As opposed to just waiting and focusing on those things that I cannot help, focusing and waiting on those things that I cannot change and cannot control. It is nerve-wracking, and it's quite silly, because there's nothing that I can do about it. There's seriously nothing that I can do. So it's like, why focus on it? Focusing on it, thinking about it, tripping about it isn't going to make the answers come to me any sooner. And I know that. It's crazy how we can know some things deep down in our hearts, yet we'll still act like we don't know. We'll still act out of character. We'll still act in this desperate way, because that anxiety is just eating you alive. And you have to, like I said, you have to surrender it, not give into it. You have to let it go. In fact, I came across something else that I pinned to my wisdom board, and I want to share that because I do believe it goes hand in hand with the other quote by Mr. Eric or Eckhart Tolle, or however you say his name. Lo siento. But the quote says, surrender the stress, worry, and anxiety. Lay it all down. You don't need it. We yearn to have control over everything around us, but often as we clench our fists, holding on to the reins of dominance over our work, lives, and situations, we find ourselves slipping. Okay? Like, let the congregation say slipping. Okay? Like, yes, I find myself slipping. Okay? It says, instead of stabilizing us, our tight grip wears us down and causes us to fall from our secure vantage point of peace. Peace, okay? Peace with a capital P, okay? That is real stuff right there. And it says, without peace, we cannot forge ahead with the clarity, wisdom, and audacious confidence that we need to accomplish our purpose. We need peace more than we need control. Amen. Let the congregation say hallelujah. Okay? We need peace. I need peace, okay? A few bottles of the shit, okay? I need peace more than I need control. Because when you're at peace, that is when the answers will come to you. Going back to that original quote that I shared. When you're at peace, okay, that's when you get the clarity. That's when you get the wisdom. That's when you get the confidence. You don't act the same. You don't even show up the same when you're not at peace. I know that to be true. I'm super tense, super stressed. All of a sudden, like when I'm going through it, you can tell, you can see it, you can sense it. Because it's all that's on my mind. Even when I'm getting up and I'm doing other stuff, if I'm going about my day, at some point the thoughts come back to me like, oh yeah, this is not working out. Oh yeah, this is a problem. Oh yeah, I need a resolution. Oh yeah, where is it though? And it's so frustrating. It's so overwhelming, but I recognize that I'm doing it to myself. And there's power in being conscientious. There's power in being self-aware, because you get to recognize when you're going down the wrong path, when you're taking the wrong steps, and then you can reroute your own self. You don't need to wait for some process to finish or commence in order to reroute. When you recognize you're self-sabotaging, you can stop at any moment. It's your choice. It's a choice to focus on everything that's going wrong in your life. And I know that may sound crazy to people who have not learned or haven't even practiced what it means to adjust your focus. But it is true. It's a choice to focus on those things. And you shouldn't make that choice. Do not make that mistake of giving in to all the things that you can't control and how low it'll make you feel. You got to do your part and then let the universe do the rest. Do your part and let God do the rest. And I give the example of applying for a university, or applying for a car loan, applying for a job, applying for something, because it's a good analogy in my mind. When you're applying for something, you do your part by filling out the application, right? And then you wait. You wait until you hear back. And if you don't hear the news that you wanted, you move on. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that I chose to apply for several universities at the same time. But if I know that there's one that I really want, it doesn't hurt to just focus on that. And wait until that university lets you know what's going on, and then move accordingly after the fact. Once you've heard your answer from that university, then you can close the door. But imagine if you are applying for one car loan and you haven't heard back from the bank. So then you start applying for this and applying for that, and you start applying from all these other places. You're opening up too many doors. And the stress comes from knowing that that door is still open. Imagínate, you're in your house, you're sitting on the couch, and you hear all types of cars whooshing by, passing by. You hear or you feel a cold draft coming in through the windows. You're like, God damn, why is it so chilly in here? Why can I hear the outside so much? It's because you have so many doors open. You have so many windows open. It's not a bad idea to open one door at a time and then close it when you're done. Then you don't have to think about it anymore. Then it's not on your mind anymore like that. At least that's how I look at it. But I don't want to make this too long. I just wanted to share that little testimony, if you will, because I know I needed to hear it. I need to remind myself of that. And I'm sure somebody else out there needs to as well. Just remember to be at ease with the uncertainty in your life. It's okay to not know. As I said in a few of the or not one, a few, one of the podcasts that I did recently, it's okay to not know how things are going to turn out. It's okay. That's part of the process. That's part of the journey. That's part of the adventure. You're going to be okay though. Think about where you are now and think about where you were 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, whichever. If you knew 3 years ago you would be where you are right now, there would be some things that you would be able to relax about, because you would know 3 years ago that you would have accomplished those things, or you would have overcome certain things by now. So you have to have faith that you're going to accomplish and overcome these current situations in your life just as you have in the past. You'll be okay. But on that note, I will say thank you for listening. Tata mi amores, take care.